Doesn't really look clean, but I cleaned out all the old oil and stuff. Still a little bit left, but not anything major. Stuff scattered everywhere, of course. I cleaned out the housing. That's not very easy. You're going to want to use whatever you can, pretty much. I just used some paper towels and sprayed it out with carburetor cleaner and stuff like that. It would be nice to use maybe a 2-inch brass wheel or even a steel wheel with a long extension on a drill, but I don't have any wheels that small, so that would work pretty good. I'll put it all together. Right now I'm going to clean off the flanges in preparation of making new gaskets. I want everything off it, so that's what I'm doing next. What I normally do is put Scotch-Brite, flange, clean it off, and spray it with carb cleaner or something like that, and then wipe it all down. Okay, what I did here is this. I don't really need a gasket here because this has a ring gasket on it, but I decided to make a silicone cone gasket with my finger, of course. Real nice and thin, because it's not their stock. That means it's not really designed for it, but it gives it added protection against any imperfections. Just make it really thin, and you don't want to let silicone sit very long because it dries immediately. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the ring gear back on here. I guess I'll show you simply how to make a gasket. Pretty easy, really. I'm using silicone that's good up to 600 degrees. I don't have the nozzle on here, so it makes it a little more difficult, but not that big a deal. Normally just draw a little bead all the way around. Actually can be easier, so it doesn't have to take so much effort to pinch it. Go around the bolt holes. And I'm also going to do a gasket over here. Nice little ring. You want about you don't want it so thick that it's going everywhere. Otherwise, when you press your parts together, it's going to squeeze out and get into the components a little bit. But you want to make a nice, even, steady bead, which I'm having a little bit of trouble here without a nozzle. But make sure you don't have any dry spots. You want it continuous coverage. And I usually use my finger a little bit to spread it out so I can see everything's covered pretty good. If you have dry spots, that could lead to a gap and seepage. For those of you who are saying, oh, that looks hillbilly as hell, well, it is a little bit. But I guarantee you, if you do it right, it works just as good as a $15 or $20 gasket, whatever it costs. If not better, because the silicone, when it's nice and wet, it'll fill in all the gaps. Put the parts together, fills in the gaps, and it'll dry and form exactly the way it needs to be. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the differential back. Looks like it's gonna be kind of difficult to get it started on this gear right here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grease the splines for the gear, the main gear, which drives the axle. That way I don't have to worry about lubrication while it's first being installed and first run, shit like that. Also gonna grease up the splines for the hub. That way I don't have to worry about them ever, hopefully, rusting to the hub. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and work on installing the axle next. Okay. Installed the axle, and seems to be there's a hang up on this, and think about removing this because it wasn't on the old axle, but it looks like it should be there, so I guess I'm gonna have to look up to see if it's supposed to be there. After reviewing the schematic, this is not on here, so it must be required on a newer model. I failed to mention, the axle is loaded in from left to right with the respect that you're looking from the back. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this because it looks like it's just pressed on there, pushed on there. In case you don't know, most Wolverines are basically the same from 05 to 2005 with minor differences. So that must be one of the minor differences. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off and then put the axle back on. Okay, I removed it, put it back in. Seems to fit in there nice and the way it should. Okay, I just used a rubber hammer and I hit it that way. And it came off real easy, pretty much. Now I'm going to reinstall that axle bearing. And that'll be pretty easy. I ordered new axle bearings, so I will replace them when they come in. I'm just gonna use the old ones, even though they're shit, for a minute until they come in. It'd be easy to put the new ones in. This thing won't be abused or anything until that happens, and after that happens, hopefully. So. Okay, the bearing's still sticking out. I took out moved the axle partially, and gonna tap this in. I'm gonna center hit it, and a combination around the rim. You don't want to center hit too hard because you risk damaging the bearings. Actually, you don't want to hit around the rim too hard, or you risk damaging affecting how the bearings go around. So just basically light taps. You see where it's high, you hit where it's high. Don't hit where it's low. And once it gets flush with the axle housing, you're pretty much forced to center hit it, but know when it's in all the way, otherwise you don't want to keep hitting it. You can. There we go. You can damage new bearings putting them in if you're not careful. I've done it, and I was careful at the same time. So.
food is hot, my drink is cold, and First Energy Solutions makes this possible by supplying Northeast Ohio with electricity. Sing with me.
That goes. Okay, in case you're wondering, no, this is not an all-day project. I just have not been doing this straight. Doing other stuff too. Okay, I got the caliper bracket cleaned off and re-greased. Go ahead and put that on. There we go. So I go on straight. Okay, I'm just finishing up put on this caliper bracket. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the rotor bracket, which just slips on over the axle. Yeah, that's right. Husky. I'm not sure if you can buy this ratchet anymore. Cost $22 new when I bought it. Makes it easy to ratchet down when there's no tension. Husky, you can send me a paycheck for the advertising. This is the best ratchet ever made, actually, I think. 3/8 drive. Got the spin handle. And I've had this for about 3 or 4 years, and I used the crap out of it, and I regretfully beat the crap out of it too, because like I said, I'm not sure if they buy this. You can even buy this anymore. I liked it a lot. It's definitely strong, and the spin handle is not a gimmick at all. It's very useful. Of course, it's made in China like everything else, but those Chinese are getting better, I guess. Okay, everything feels so good. See, I just dropped it. Everything feels so good. I'm not sure if that, yeah. Huh. I suppose this goes this way. I'm just guessing. I guess it doesn't really matter each way. I don't have my previous owner of this removed the rear brakes. Yeah, it would have to go this way. For whatever reason, I'm not sure. But front brakes work pretty good. Eventually, I end up get the rear brakes on here, so they're working good. That slips on there, and then the hub slips on next. Oh yeah, that fits great. Yeah, it looks like someone made a spacer at one time. Needless to say, the spacer didn't work very good because it caused those splines to get fucked up. Alright. Put the hub on the other wheel. And then pretty much I'm done. Okay, I got done and started up and runs pretty good. Changed the oil and all this other crap. Last thing you want to do once you got everything together is remember to put gear oil back in here. I take completely empty. It has capacity. It says 300, but I took about 320 or so milliliters. That's about it. Want to hear it start up? I'll show you how loud this thing is compared to my 3-wheeler.